Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. Stumbling out the gate. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Top of the morning to you. Wild day over here. Wild day over there. I know they're building your deck. You're like, I'm not gonna be able to hear you. I'm like, I can't hear a thing. Quiet as a mouse coming through your side right now. So
good.
These mics are great.
The truth is, remember what we used to battle through?
Oh yeah. It's like Mexicans with leaf blowers.
But not just that. All the
fires.
The South Koreans who were making remember what would you call it? The tops for people's apartments.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think the dirtballs actually really loved that. They would. It was like a background noise that set the tone.
I really loved it, honestly.
For the old dirty sports.
Yeah.
It was a vibe.
It was a vibe.
Isn't that, it was a vibe. It was a total vibe for the show at the time, and now I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a little loud. How are we going to do this? Do I have to go somewhere else to do this? But yeah, we got lots of fun football to talk.
So much to talk. So much sports to talk. We could talk. We could save Mets baseball for later.
We should. I do want to get something out of the way. I finally did speak with Yoshi.
Oh wow, Yoshi called me the other night too.
So he continued to call me.
Okay.
Every day. Finally, I texted him and said, "Hey man, my schedule's a little different. I go to bed earlier. It's just different with having a young kid." And I said, "I'll call you this week." And he goes, "Okay, cool." But then he continued to call me every day.
That's the most Yoshi shit ever.
So I called him Saturday.
And you're like, what the fuck's going on, dude?
Yeah. So I just said, like, early on, I just said, "Hey man, what's up?" And he goes, "I finally watched the Patriots documentary on Apple. I wanted your opinion." And I'm like, "This is what you've been calling me every day for?" You know what he wanted to talk about?
I'm glad I didn't answer. I would have been like, Yoshi, I didn't watch it. I'm sorry.
He wanted to talk about the Patriots documentary and Ohtani. Those were the two things he wanted to talk about.
Life and death shit.
Yeah, Ohtani going 50 for 50 or 50-50 club.
Yeah.
And then he's going down the gambling thing, and he's like, "I don't think he did it because Japanese people they would never blah blah blah. This is why." And I'm just like,
well, Japanese people. I mean, the guy, his translator was Japanese too. So one way or the other, the Japanese guy was gambling a lot.
I know. And
there goes that theory.
And he you know what he was hung up on the Patriots documentary, which is so funny to me, that Bill Belichick wouldn't do Aaron Hernandez's trade request. And I think it is an interesting part of it, but not that interesting how in the documentary they say, had Hernandez been traded away, he's not around all his friends and the guys he grew up with.
Because he was from Connecticut or whatever.
Yeah. So had he been traded to, let's say, the Raiders, he's in the opposite side of the country.
Yeah, he'd been fine in Oakland.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I said to Yoshi? I said, Yoshi, he was like, I don't know. And he's a Patriots guy. He's like, I don't know how I feel about it. I said, Yoshi, Belichick he was all football. It's a football decision.
Yeah.
I don't.
I also just think it's like ludicrous to think like you take a no joke, like a multiple homicide, like a guy who killed multiple people. I don't think if you put him in Miami, all of a sudden his life's like a lot more chill. Like I have a feeling his crew just shows up in Miami then.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And they killed a bunch of people there.
Which actually is a nice little segue for last night's game, because I tweeted after that Falcons Chiefs game, I think the Falcons, they easily, I shouldn't say easy, I think they win that game if they have Belichick as their coach. Let's not forget, it was looking like he was going to coach the Falcons because, in my opinion, Belichick kicks a field goal when they're down 22-17 with 4 minutes and change. The Chiefs offense wasn't doing much. And then, so let's say he kicks, it's a chip shot. And then they get the ball back, and we saw they got the ball down to the 6-yard line. They just put the field goal.
Yeah.
I just think those are, I would call, basic level coaching mistakes that Raheem Morris made last night.
This is a conversation that I've seen come up. I think it might have even been Sean from Sports Gambling Podcast. He put out a tweet. What's been worse this season, quarterback play or coaching decisions? It's like there is a wild bunch of the absurd number of terrible coaching decisions week in and week out at this point. It's like every game you tune into, there's something about just dialing it back to that Parcellsian, Belichickian, whatever, where it's just it's like playing blackjack. When people play blackjack, the whole table gets upset when you don't play it by the book. It's like you can't get creative playing blackjack. You can only lose if you get creative. The way to win is just to play it by the book. All these guys overthink it or underthink it, or I don't know, don't think about it. Nick Sirianni tried to get himself fired yesterday. Raheem Morris blew that game. What's amazing is you were questioning how the Chiefs get to 13 wins. I'm like, the Chiefs are going to get to 13 wins because they're going to win a bunch of close games because they're the only one who has a coach who just goes, yeah, I'm not really going to overthink it. I'm just going to take the points when I have the points. I'm not going for it on 4th and 1 inside my own 30 and trying to push it.
Yeah, I agree. I almost feel like it's an epidemic with coaching decisions, just terrible coaching decisions. And again, that game, if you have your timeouts, and again, the Chiefs offense, and we saw this last year. I'm not saying that they're going to be mediocre or whatever they're doing all year round, but this isn't the Chiefs offense that we've seen. And it really wasn't last year, but it doesn't matter when you have, their defense at this point. Spagnuolo, I mean, he just, the scheming, Cousins just didn't have a chance. They put up some points early, but after those first 2 touchdowns, you just watch this Chiefs team, and it's like you said, they're the most, I would say non-flashy 3-0 with the best quarterback who really is having, for his standards, a total mid-year so far. And you say to yourself, but they're 3-0.
Yeah.
And they do have the best quarterback.
Yep. That's why I'm like, there's one team that seems to just win the close games, and the refs are on their side, blah blah blah. And it's
that was a bad missed call, though. The missed pass
interference. This is the point always, right? This is the thing, is they're missed. The guy who missed that call had to go back to being an accountant this morning. We've talked about this forever. The refs fucking suck.
Sure.
A lot of times it's always the trying to put it on some particular team or some particular thing. They're not picking and choosing when to blow calls. Some guy's not oh, fuck it, that's Mahomes. But the fact of the matter is, it's in the NFL, there's so much parity that in any given game, it's having a coach like Andy Reid who has experience. And what's that worth? 2 points, 3 points a game?
It's a good question. It's probably worth definitely a field goal.
Yeah.
And again, I think, how I felt about Atlanta not hiring Belichick. I thought it was ridiculous, stupid. And I think last night's a prime example.
Yeah.
If you have Belichick going against Andy Reid, two great coaches, I think the Falcons win that game. He's going to kick field goals and play it safe and play it smart and trust his defense, which the Falcons again was playing pretty well. I'd be so scared though if I was in the AFC, because I think on the outside looking in, they say, "Oh, this Chiefs offense isn't what it used to be." But I look at it from the different angle. I say, their D was great last year. They're good again. They're really good again this year. And you have Mahomes, who at any given moment can turn it on.
Yeah.
Or they start gelling offensively with
good coach, good quarterback, good defense.
And maybe you're right. Maybe I was crazy to say, "Oh, no way they can win 13 games."
It's just like they're going to come out on the right side of that coin flip game. Way more, like if it's a coin flip game, it's a 50-50 game. For the Chiefs, it's a 75-25 game. 3 out of 4 times they're going to come out on the right side of that game.
And they have all 3 times this year so far, right? All 3 games have been close. And they won all 3.
Yeah. Is there a Raiders game like last year where they just randomly get blown out one game and that's a loss? They just don't show up. A guy gets hurt, blah, blah, blah. But those close games, I mean, they're going to win them 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5 times.
Yeah.
I mean, there's levels. It's like there's terrible coaches, there's bad coaches, there's mediocre coaches, there's good coaches. I mean, Andy Reid's obviously a great coach, has his legacy been completely magnified by getting Patrick Mahomes? Yeah, but he also, he took down McNabb before NFC Championship games. You know what I mean? Like he's a great coach. And that goes a long way these days, because you look around the league. I was tweeting about it yesterday. Is Nick Sirianni trying to get fired? Like, I predicted he was going to get fired. Like, he almost got fired yesterday.
Well, they ended up winning. That was
winning, which is the only reason he didn't get fired. If they had lost that game with the decisions he's making, like, we're never going to kick a field goal unless we're 63 yards out. Then we'll try to kick a field goal. You're like, are you like misreading your card? Are you holding your card upside down? 4th and 1 on our own 35. Oh, it says go for it. Oh, fuck. Do I have this flipped? Was I supposed to kick? Like, was I supposed to punt there?
Well, you know what's interesting, because the analytics, and I feel that's what a lot of these coaches go off. We were just joking about the vibes. It's like the vibes of the game, they don't go off. They don't, hey, take that Saints game. This is a low scoring offensive, just struggle. Your old school, just grind it out. Why would you ever take a chance if both teams are struggling offensively?
Yeah. Because you're dumb.
Like, have an understanding of that game, right? Every game is different. And that is where the good coaches, the Andy Reids of the world, kind of understand it. And a lot of these young guys don't. It's interesting that you brought up coaching, because I was thinking a lot about it yesterday too. I was thinking what separates the coaches. And I think the spotlight was really on it yesterday. A guy like Sean McVay, who doesn't have his 2 top receivers, and he basically wins. He guides the team with Stafford from a come from behind, we're going to put in air quotes, home game. It was all Niners fans. You know what I'm saying? Like the difference, let me put it this way. The difference between a Sean McVay with no weapons and a why was Miami's coach?
McDaniel. Yeah.
Mike McDaniel, who doesn't have Tua, but he still does have his weapons. To me, it is night and day.
Let me say something, and I didn't think we'd get to this game fast enough. I have that queued up as like, we've made some horrific, both of us, we've made some horrific predictions. But you backing Skylar Thompson against one of your 5 NFL teams. I remember when you did it, I was like, I don't know. Does he not know Skylar Thompson's playing? Does he not, like?
You know what? I got burned by the Dolphins last week, and I thought I'm gonna try him again, and it's killing me because right now in my pick 6 league where you pick 6 spreads, I'm 4 out of 5, and that was the one I missed. It's like, here's my thing in McDaniel, especially after watching that game. Again, is he? Everyone's like, oh, he's an offensive, mastermind. Is he?
Right.
I'm not. My point is, Sean McVay is doing way more with Skylar Thompson in that skill set of players.
I think with the rules in the NFL today, with with how ticky-tacky they get on some of these pass interference, with the rubs, with all these things, it's like the easy plays are there. Like, you can't necessarily, I don't think you can come up and scheme, just be like, hey, we're going to scheme 30 points a game with Skylar Thompson. But if you're an offensive genius, why aren't those little flat routes? Why aren't those things like death by 1,000 cuts? Just be like, we are playing the Seahawks. I know we're this offensive team, but let's try to turn it into one of those ball control games and just try to win this game 4 yards at a time. These coaches, I don't think you can be an offensive genius if you can't put up 25 points a game, 20 points a game in the NFL, no matter who your fucking
quarterback
team is, no matter who your quarterback is, no matter who your weapons are. It's like you watch these games sometime and you're like, oh, the inside receiver to the flat, the guy coming across, it's a pick play, but it's not a pick play. It's good for 3 yards every time. There was never a time during Bill Belichick's coaching career where I was like, they're going to get stopped on this 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was like, this is unfair. We should change the rules. Pick plays are ridiculous. They're unguardable.
And that's the thing. Again, which game was I watching where they ran the pick play so great for was that that was the Eagles game, actually.
Yeah,
where they ran and
Goddard
got a huge play. But again, these guys, it's like the wheels fall off. We know how I feel like the injury bug, it's bigger now than it's ever been. You can't rely on any of these guys to stay healthy for 16, 17 games. So these guys, they just, and you're right, I was reckless. I don't know. I'm done. By the way, I'm done. Like, that's back-to-back weeks. I've taken Miami to cover. It's like I'm just doing the opposite of what I think, because I think the odds are going to come back around. It's basically
the Seahawks are 2-0. They're playing pretty good. The Dolphins look like trash. Their quarterback probably shouldn't be in the league. That's another, dude, you don't have a halfway decent. You did this a couple years ago. You had Tua. He got hurt. You guys couldn't do shit. And you're just like, yeah, let's run back Skylar Thompson. I like that. I like what was happening there.
Okay, so this brings me to my first question that I have queued up ready for today's show.
Okay.
We're going to take the Chiefs out of it because we always have to.
Yeah.
Which 3-0 team doesn't, and maybe you say maybe they all do, which 3-0 team doesn't make the playoffs? Okay. Vikings, Steelers, Seahawks. Percentage-wise, they're all set up very well right now, all three.
I think the AFC North is going to be a dogfight. I think, the Steelers can get in. They can win that division with a low win total, and then they could also sneak in a wild card with a low win total. I think they could be, a 10-win team.
And like I said, you can say, hey, I think they all make it.
I think they all probably make it. But if I had to pick a team, it's between the two NFC teams. I'm probably, people are going to say I'm a fucking hater. I'm probably going the Vikings.
Really?
I just think their defense is playing really, really well. And
they're playing lights out.
Yeah. But I'm not the world's biggest Detroit fan, but I think Detroit will stockpile some wins. I am the biggest Green Bay fan, especially with what Green Bay is doing without Jordan Love. So that's going to be a tough division for them. The Bears are terrible and, are looking like anybody who got the Hard Knocks, jump on the Hard Knocks hype is probably losing their money. I was texting with Brady Matthews the other day. He's already out on fucking Caleb Williams. I was like, tap the brakes, bro. Your team sucked. They sucked before. Look at your last quarterback. But I think there's a better chance. I think that's the toughest of the divisions, because the Rams are already, like the Niners are 1-2.
The Rams are 1-2.
The Rams are 1-2.
The Cardinals are 1-2.
Yeah. So you're already in like a great position. Whereas like the AFC North is going to be a dogfight. You know that. And the NFC North, they're already pacing each other. It's not like everybody's 0-2, 1-2 with, the Vikings running away with it.
Well, and you brought up the Packers, which goes back to my earlier point.
Coaches.
You have Malik,
You're finally in on LaFleur.
I am.
Okay.
I mean, this is showing like they've completely changed their offense, and they've said, okay, we are just going to run the shit out of the ball, and we're going to play to our quarterback strengths. A guy who did absolutely nothing in Tennessee, ironically, boat races the shit out of his old team. And I mean, he's looking good as a coach, and talk about just holding steady while their star quarterback is out.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for, is basically go 500 while your QB's out, and they're doing better than that. But I've been so impressed by the Vikings defense, man. I know you have the Sam Darnold question like me. We all do. Everybody who watches football should be questioning Sam Darnold before he turns into a pumpkin, which I don't know if that happens before Halloween or right after Halloween. But
I'm not super worried about Sam Darnold like all of a sudden being terrible, but I am sort of regressing. Like that there's that same thing that I was talking about with Bryce Young, and like, I said we both, I think, took the Panthers to cover. It's like Sam Darnold's now a veteran, as opposed to before when he was on bad teams and he was, a young quarterback. I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast last night. Who was it that was it? Cousin Sally might have brought up Darnold's younger than Joe Burrow.
Really?
Like, that's an interesting factoid.
No, Darnold's 27. He just turned 27. I think Joe Burrow. Yeah, he is. Burrow will turn 28 in December. So they're both 27 now. They're about 6 years apart.
I'm not comparing them as quarterbacks, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you had Darnold, a young quarterback on shit team in the Jets. And the same way Baker Mayfield was on the Browns, and now look at Deshaun Watson on the Browns. And Baker Mayfield goes to the Rams for a hot minute, and all of a sudden he's playing great quarterback. Sam Darnold goes to the Niners for a hot minute. Now he's playing great quarterback. And
well, I don't know if he's playing great for the Niners.
No, I'm saying now he is.
Oh.
I'm saying you get a little bit of separation from a terrible team, and you get good coaching, even in a backup role. You get good coaching for a season, or for Baker Mayfield, like a half a season, a third of a season. You get good coaching, and then you get a fresh start on a team that's not a dumpster fire. It's like, I don't think Sam Darnold is going to be in the conversation for the MVP. And I think he will regress to the mean a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be terrible, because they're not terrible. And that's the same thing we talk about all the time. It's like, dude, could people have been more out on Sam Darnold? I know everybody likes to dunk on me for Daniel Jones. It's like, and Sam Darnold obviously didn't get a contract, but he wasn't Sam Darnold. And now Sam Darnold's like undefeated and playing pretty great football.
Well, and their defense, man. I mean, we both missed that game. They're just.
We both missed that game, and this is something I got to figure out. Are we doing something weird with like injury reports this year? Why am I finding out like at the last minute that like Justin Herbert's like maybe not gonna play, that Joe Mixon's out? Like, I feel like every other year I'm up on the injuries.
I didn't know the Herbert thing really until Sunday morning. Mixon, I didn't know. But that wouldn't have affected my decision.
No, but I mean, it wouldn't have affected my decision either. But I mean, it might have affected my decision like on the spread. I think I probably still would have picked them to win that game.
But that division is really shaping up now. Again, you got 2-2-1 teams, and you got a 3-0 team.
Right.
By the way, shout out. Speaking of Vikings, shout out to Nick Swartzen. I saw him in Cincinnati with Brittany and my brother and his wife on Friday night. Dude, he's hilarious.
Was he great?
He's great. I mean, great. Like, I'm talking 70 minutes of just, he didn't miss a beat. And he really doesn't do much crowd work.
Great. Love that.
I mean, like none. He just came out and he destroyed, and great impersonations, great stories. You would have loved it. He shared 3 Norm Macdonald stories. And he shared a lot of stories with about some of those guys. And he did some, you and I know, like as stand-ups, there's always different methods of how people do it. His was very unconventional. There was no like coming back. There was no callbacks. There was no, he just goes from beat to beat to beat, kind of to his own, like the beat of his own drum, man. I was very impressed. So I just wanted to get that out there now that his Vikings are 3-0. And he literally walked on stage. I didn't know he does this in shorts and a t-shirt and like New Balance shoes. And by the way, he brought up how much he drank. And
and he had that whole like meltdown on stage even, and
which he talks about.
Yeah.
And he talked about basically, he's like, I gotta put glasses on like to see certain things, because like I basically drank myself to blind. I was like, he was like alluding to it. But he wasn't drinking this show.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And he lost weight. You could tell.
I imagine that's a guy like him. That's going to be your, I've seen the Strokes a lot over the years. And there's 2 kinds of stroke shows: great stroke shows and drunk Julian stroke shows.
Yeah. Well, he was sober that show, and he murdered. And he had a lot of edibles joke. The truth is, I was dead sober. I was like, man.
Oh, you didn't do your 5 mil?
No. And I told my little brother, I said, next time the women drive. And we went separate, and I said, and so you and I can partake in some fun stuff. But I didn't do anything, but he was great, man. Didn't miss a beat. And he really dunked on Skyline a few times, which was pretty funny. Just like, I'm not eating that diarrhea. I bet he's turned. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, because you and I we kind of went hard in on Tua.
Yeah.
With the Brian Flores thing. And now I'm like, well, Flores, those guys have bought into Flores' defense, clearly.
Yeah.
Taking a little bit of time because he started.
It's really that. I mean, that's the only reason. Again, I just sort of like defended Darnold a little bit, and you've got to give was it Kevin O'Connell credit for their offense
for sure,
but it's the defense. Like, it's all about that defense. You're putting Sam Darnold in a position where their defense is ball hawking. Their defense is keeping your offense on the field. They're getting defense, getting off the field, getting your offense back out there, giving you guys opportunities. It's like it's all about that defense. And the thing is like I'm not the biggest Lions guy because I just never have been the world's biggest Dan Campbell fan. And this just kind of levels the playing field. That being said, the Lions are super talented. The Packers are super talented and have a good coach. It's going to be tough. Like there's going to be some dogfights in that division.
Okay. So then let me ask you this then as a follow-up. Which North team, which 3-0 North team, either the Vikings or the Steelers, do you think can go farther in the playoffs? Here's what I think is interesting. I just looked up. The Steelers have only given up 26 points in 3 games. The Vikings 30.
Yeah.
They both have rescue quarterback projects, right? With Justin Fields and Sam Darnold, guys who are kind of trying to find their footing with given a second chance. They really do mirror each other.
Yeah. I think that the Vikings can probably go further in the playoffs because I just think at this point, like how many teams in football do you trust? Like week in and week out playoffs, like I feel like if I said to you, Andy, you get $10,000 for every team that you pick to win a playoff game. All you have to do is pick a team to win a single playoff game. You get $10,000. So if you pick the Chiefs and just the Chiefs and they win a playoff game, you get $10,000. If you pick the Chiefs and the Bills and they each win a playoff game, you get $20,000. But if anybody loses their first game out, you get nothing. How many teams are you choosing and who are they?
That's a great question.
Those might be the 2 teams that I choose.
I was going to say the question is how much am I putting on the Chiefs?
I'm saying you got 10,000. So you got 10,000 on the Chiefs. We all agree Chiefs are going to win a playoff game?
Yeah.
I think the Bills will win a playoff game. After that, am I confident in another NFL football team winning a playoff game? Confident they'll win it? Am I confident the Niners will win a playoff game? Or the Lions will win a playoff game? Or the Vikings will win a playoff game? Or the Steelers will win a playoff game?
Yeah, especially
I'm not confident. I mean, I called the NFC East the paper that I couldn't be less the Cowboys are not good. The Eagles, I don't think honestly are good.
Here's what I think though. I think the Cowboys in that division, they've now just gotten run over 2 weeks in a row. That's a major issue. I think the Cowboys actually have more problems than the Eagles.
I think they probably do as well.
Because if you can't stop the run, what are you?
Yeah. I think they probably do as well. But neither of those to me, I have almost no confidence in either of those teams winning a playoff game.
Yeah. Well, I don't hate that. I don't hate that take. But was part of you a little upset that the Giants won yesterday? I thought you want to tank for your boy.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is now at this point is like, who are we tanking for? We can't tank for Arch. He can't come out this year. So it is annoying. Like the tough part about the Giants right now is I don't want to win games because I don't think they do anything, obviously. Then you get into a position where you're like, God damn, the Cowboys are 1-2. The Eagles were a play here or a play there. We're a play here or a play there away from being tied for the division lead, not just in the Eagles game yesterday, but in the fact that the Giants probably shouldn't have lost to Washington. So it's frustrating, but to me, and I've said this 1,000 times, I would actually rather lose all of my games than lose in the wild card round. Like to me, if you're not going to win a playoff game, you're better off losing all of your games. Like, honestly, I'm an Eagles hater, so I don't want them to do this. But the Eagles are probably better off missing the playoffs and firing Nick Sirianni. The Cowboys are probably better off missing the playoffs and firing Mike McCarthy than either of them getting in and getting boat raced by the Packers.
So Deshaun Watson has this wild new lawsuit, graphically detailed. He keeps playing. My question to the NFL is, well, they've done a magical job like they always do of just kind of letting it fly under the radar. But he's already was suspended, 11 games? Like, it seems like there's enough evidence here just from the outside. What do they do at this point? Are the Browns hoping that they can get out of this contract? Because it's a fucking shit show up there now.
I don't like if the Browns were hoping they could get this kind, like, couldn't they just also sit him? I mean, I know it's Jameis Winston, which, like, let's not even get started on, like, you have a rapist as your like, we talk about Tua's injury prone, maybe have a good backup. Imagine that your quarterback is rape prone, and then you back him up with a rapist. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Is this, I always used to say, like, how do you have one style of quarterback? How do you have, like, a running style quarterback? How did you have Deshaun Watson in Houston? And then when he went down, you had to put in fucking, God knows who to back him up in that one playoff game. Why didn't you have Colin Kaepernick? A running quarterback. Have they gone the other way now? They're like, if we have a rapist, we should just have a rapist backing him up. Like, let's not get started on that Jameis Winston is the backup there. But who gives a shit? Like, why is he playing? He was bad yesterday. Bad.
But that's my question. At what point do you just pull the plug?
And then what? Because you don't want, the thing is, you can't just, like, pull the plug and then, like, actively campaign for him to get, like, suspended. The whole, like, collusion thing starts then, like, but you can't bench him and then hope he gets suspended.
But this is classic Browns. You've had a great defense for the last few years. You obviously had questioned the quarterback, so then you went out and got the rapist, the guy with 36 lawsuits after him, and you get him. You go 11-6, mostly without him last year. And also celebrating a touchdown with an interception with the choreographed dance that was then called back is the most Browns thing ever.
The fucking, I don't even know what the moves were. Yeah. I was watching it, I was like, there's a flag on the field already. Everybody together. There's poses, there's pictures, people are voguing. You're like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Also, the tough part about the Giants tanking too is, like, it's pretty hard to tank when you have Malik Neighbors. I mean, he's the new the Browns defense. God damn. That guy put on a fucking show yesterday.
Well, he's performing the best so far of any wide receiver tight end in this draft class. Man, LSU is just wide receiver U at this point, huh?
And listen, this goes back to the thing I was saying about, quarterbacks and skill position. It was like every day, just like with the jugs machines and the footwork fucking thing and the recovery, all the things, just like every day, the next great wide receiver, like some kid in college right now is next year's an elite receiver in the NFL next year. This isn't like 2-3 years into the league at this point.
Yeah.
He's making Daniel Jones look serviceable.
I know. I agree though, man. I mean, and there's so many guys that you can turn into players. There's just so much. There's just a depth of talent at this point.
I texted some friends yesterday. I was like, I know this is going to go against the Maras, standard, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think they should plan on keeping Malik Neighbors, even if he does a commercial or has an opinion or puts out a rap song. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
Are you talking about Odell Beckham Jr.?
Just general Odell Beckham Jr., the fucking dude who went to the Chiefs, this guy, that guy. Like I feel like this is a thing in the NFL that like teams will be like, this young black kid is acting like a young black kid. We got to get him out of here.
Well, certain teams. I think you look a lot of these teams they're signing them, man.
Yeah.
They're re-signing all these guys. They're giving them second contracts. Did Andy Dalton end Bryce Young's career in Carolina with one game? Did you watch that? Dude, I was watching that game. It's insane. And I've read a lot about it, by the way. Apparently, they were so frustrated, his teammates, with Bryce Young. And they said it's the same thing over and over again. He's not improving. It's the same thing. And you and I both called it. What did we say? Dalton was going to inject life into that team. Now, nobody predicted they were going to blow out the Raiders on the road.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know, man.
But again, then you get to this. We're gonna loop back around, right? So then Andy Dalton's not the quarterback of the future in Carolina.
No.
Right? So 2 years from now, they're bad again. They have another rookie quarterback who's struggling because they threw him in the league after 3 minutes. Bryce Young is lighting it up on the Rams because Stafford's old and got hurt. Like Darnold, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. They're everywhere now. Take these guys that bust, put them on a team that's well coached, not a bust anymore.
Well, this is a great segue for a call. Speaking of somebody who was a bust, I love this call because I've totally forgot about us mocking Sam Bradford. We're going to loop this. You'll hear the call. It'll make sense.
Is this crazy eyes Sam Bradford with the call?
No, but we're going to loop the call back to modern day. Once you hear the call, you'll get it. Because of this call, I found myself down a Sam Bradford Wikipedia rabbit hole last night.
One of the many quarterbacks.
Dirty Sports. What's going on, boys? It's Ray from beautiful Toms River, New Jersey. What's it called? Watching the Jets-Niners game last week. Couldn't help but notice Garrett Wilson with the Sam Bradford-type sleeves on. Prano brought back a memory. Prano used to rag on Sam Bradford for having a medium-sized jersey and extra-large sleeves. And I kind of noticed that trend is coming back. Crazy guy Sam Bradford started it. Garrett Wilson is wearing it. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey. Couldn't help but notice. So what do you guys think on that? I think it looks goofy as hell. What are we doing? Why is this cool now? What the hell? So condoms are for that. So give me some feedback. Appreciate you guys. Keep doing your thing. Love the show. Peace out.
I think it's a great call because I have noticed it and I was wondering the exact same thing.
Yeah. I've seen multiple people call it out on the Garrett Wilson thing, especially.
Oh, Garrett Wilson, he was the first guy. I go, are we going back to this?
Yeah.
We're not wrapping the jersey around the shoulder pads?
Yeah. And listen, it's way more common for the quarterback than not. Like, if you're not a quarterback and you're doing this, you suspect.
Also,
like, I'm out on Garrett Wilson.
Right, they can reach out for an extra thing to try to pull you down.
Yeah. Listen, Eli Manning didn't exactly have short sleeves.
Yeah, Eli. I think Eli.
But Sam Bradford like had them add cuffs or something like that.
Yeah.
The way Sam Bradford's jersey fit, I was like, I don't care if he's on a good team, a bad team, whatever. Sam Bradford is a bust of all fucking busts.
How many years do you think he lasted in the league?
More than most people would think. Like 9.
It was 8.
Yeah,
He played 8 years.
I mean, he went Rams, Vikings, Eagles.
He had Eagles and then Arizona at the end.
Arizona at the end. I mean, the Eagles fans. That's one of my. I don't know if that's my favorite. This guy is going to be great. I don't know if I prefer that one or Kevin Kolb. But the amount of people that the Eagles fans have tried to sell me on over the years is so fucking hilarious. I remember when Carson Wentz was the greatest quarterback in the history of football. You guys already on from that? I'll just say it. Jalen Hurts is maybe the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. Maybe the most overrated. Jalen Hurts.
Who would be in that list?
Joker.
Who would be in that list for you for
Dak?
overrated?
Dak,
so
Jalen Hurts.
So you have to say Dak is more overrated. Jalen Hurts at least was this close to winning a Super Bowl, man.
Jalen Hurts was on a way better football team.
Dak's had some good teams with some good offenses and good defenses. That's all I'm saying. Dak's never sniffed.
Dak's also overrated.
Yeah, but that's my point. If you're saying Jalen Hurts is more overrated, I'm saying I think Dak is way more overrated.
I think Dak's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
I completely disagree. You think Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts? No way.
Yeah.
In like what? Give me why.
Jalen Hurts. If you look at the Jalen Hurts, we just talk about the easy plays and the nice plays. Jalen Hurts is young Goff. If it's not open or it's not a 50-50 ball that that AJ Brown or Devontae Smith goes up and makes a play on, he's not making it. I haven't seen him fit a ball in a tight window fucking 10 times in his career.
You know why he's not Goff though? Because of his legs.
Okay. Good.
So,
how long is it last?
No, I know, but my point is he has another aspect to his game that Jared Goff doesn't have or never had.
Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback. He's also one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL, but he's way better than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts outside the pocket is a fucking nightmare in terms of throwing the ball. Like their offense is chuck it down the sideline to a great receiver who can make a play. Get a Dallas Goedert in the flat. Get a Dallas Goedert coming across the middle. Like the amount of just like 15-yard hard outs, drive a fucking throw into that. Dak at least makes that throw from time to time.
Why do I here's a good question for myself, and I don't know if I have an answer to this. Why do I find myself defending Jalen Hurts more than these other guys?
I don't know.
Because I do.
And why he went to the Super Bowl?
Maybe that's it. Because I find myself defending him more too.
But you know, we talked about it before. I mean, he's getting older, but even today, like the best team in the NFC East by a landslide, and then suddenly a team that can win multiple playoff games is like you drop Matt Stafford on the Eagles. You drop Matt Stafford on the Cowboys. Same as we were talking. I was just saying Goff. It's like that's the difference. It's like that guy makes fucking throws.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Burrow. I'm not talking about Mahomes. I'm not talking about Herbert. I'm not talking about I'm talking about old Matt Stafford is the best quarterback in the NFC East by a fucking landslide.
So which contract do you think is more ridiculous? Jalen Hurts over Dax?
Well, I mean, Dax is signed later and for more.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the call, though. Do you think this is going to be a trend now? The guys are going to start doing the...
Well, Garrett Wilson has stunk this year so far. This is a trend. I mean, the guys who, Sam Bradford and late stage Garrett Wilson, like maybe just fucking tuck your jersey in. I'm not saying you got to do the Derek Carr where it's like, why, you're a quarterback and it looks like you're not wearing sleeves. Just like some sort of middle ground.
You know who else has been non-existent is Travis Kelce.
I know. Listen, I'm not a fantasy guy typically for 15 years. I finally have a fantasy football team. Travis Kelce's on it. He's up to shit.
What percentage are we putting on everything else versus just he's old for the NFL standards? Is it a combo? I mean, he's acting now. They keep showing this thing.
Yeah.
On the FX horror show, he's acting. I'm sure you've seen the social media post.
Taylor Swift shit.
Where they're like, this is a man crying out for help deep down. Do you believe that? Have you seen that?
In terms of what?
There have been some funny posts where they'll like take a screenshot of him and her, and the captions will be real funny, and they'll say something along those lines.
He fucking hates this shit at this point. You gotta imagine he does.
But that's kind of the point. That like, is he?
Every single person that's ever dated her gets to a point and they're like, well, this isn't fun at all anymore. Turns out she's just, they always say like, oh, don't, are you going to get married? You're going to have one ice cream flavor your whole life. And it's like, yeah, dude, pistachio. I could eat pistachio ice cream every day. That could be the only ice cream I ever have. I love me some fucking pistachio ice cream. The problem with Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift isn't even vanilla ice cream. Taylor Swift is just white ice cream. and they put it on the thing and you're like, it's vanilla? No, it's just white. Well, what do you mean it's just white? There's no flavor. It's just cream. It's just a white cream. You can't have just no flavor ice cream your whole life. You're just going to eat no flavor ice cream every day. So you don't want to try chocolate. You don't even want to try vanilla. You don't even want to try that white shit with like the little speckled bean in it. No, you're just all in on nothing flavor. You're just all in on fucking bitch cream.
Which again goes to my question I asked earlier. Like, do they make it through the season to the Super Bowl?
Probably, because it'll cause way more of a headache not to. He's practicing. He's got games. Whatever. He can fuck her once a week till February.
Well, it seems now like Rashee Rice is Mahomes' security blanket.
Yeah.
Unless Kelce's just a decoy, which then it still works.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't think he gives a shit. I mean, I think maybe not to this point. They're 3-0. He just wants another ring. He's going to go, he'll be in the Hall of Fame as a tight end. Like they try to win another ring. But like you get into 11, 12 weeks of this, then he's going to be like, what the fuck?
He doesn't even have 100 yards in 3 games.
I know.
That's what's insane to me. He doesn't have 80 yards.
He doesn't even have as many. He doesn't even have as many yards as the other tight end on the team.
He's got 8 receptions for 69 yards. Yeah, that's pretty wild. He'll be 35 in about 2 weeks.
He'll have some big fucking catches down the stretch. He will. But I mean, yeah. Is this a sucky bus situation? Of course it is.
You know what he needs? He needs like an old school Ruther 6 to get him going.
But he's Travis Kelce. He doesn't need to do that. With Travis Kelce, you know what he needs is exactly what he always had besides before he started fucking a triple stacked no flavor ice cream in a waffle cone. He needs a fucking hot ass black Instagram model. That's what he needs. He's fucking this dude was showing up to the fucking ice cream parlor every week. He's like, I'll do that Rocky Road. And then he's like, oh, that double chocolate chunk. Oh, that's got some chocolate and brownies. What's that shit? Chocolate with peanut butter? Oh man, chocolate Reese's Pieces. Then one day he walked in, he's like, give me the clear ice cream in a cup.
Clear. Yeah, not even vanilla.
Yeah. They're like, you want sprinkles on it and shit? He's like, no.
Well, they're winning, and like you said, that is all that matters. We do have a call from Alex for another Alex. You know where this is
A
going.
Millie for Alex for Kentucky. From
A
Kentucky.
Millie hates Alex from Kentucky so much.
Good.
Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. This is Alex from Kentucky. He. The Tennessee Titans are 0-3. He. The Tennessee Titans are 0-3. He. I just wanted to call in and say that Andy Ruther, I have been trolling you this whole time because this whole time I've just been a full-blown goddamn moron, just like that moron Will Levis and that moron coach Brian Callahan. Actually, this is Alex from Louisiana. I just wanted to call in and ask, and actually not ask, just say that for Alex from Kentucky, because we know that jerk off isn't going to fucking call in and fucking admit he's a fucking moron.
That was a pretty good Alex from Kentucky to start, honestly.
That was a pretty good Alex from Kentucky. So where are you, Alex? Your team is 0-3. We both said we want to make a bet versus Mike Vrabel. Which again, go back to your earlier point to start the show. I mean, look again, a sound coach. How's Vrabel doing on some of these teams that are close? And the Titans have been in a lot of close games. Now, yesterday wasn't really too close, but
yeah,
again, just smart coaching decisions.
I mean, yeah, I think there's 8 teams that are greatly improved by Mike Vrabel becoming their head coach tomorrow. The Tennessee Titans being obviously one of them. Honestly, I was thinking about it while I was watching that game yesterday. I was thinking, what if they were just like, if they just called up Mike Vrabel yesterday after the game and they're like, listen, here's the deal. You already live here. You already have a house here. You know where the parking spot is. We could turn your key card back on, for God's sakes. What if we just triple your salary and we pretend this never happened? We just give you triple the money and we pretend this never happened. Obviously, everything we know about Mike Vrabel and football guys, like he's a football guy. If you were like, hey, we want to hire you back, the majority of football guys would be like, go fuck yourself. But what if they were just like, hey, I fucked up. We'll triple your salary. Come back. Could you say no to that if you were Mike Vrabel?
I mean,
you were wrong.
Salary.
You were wrong. We were wrong. You were right for us. We're going to give you it was, upon further review, hiring a guy who's never coached or called a play in the NFL, whose dad was also not a great coach. Is a Nepo baby of not a great coach. Was a bad decision. We'll give you triple the money and we'll put out a press release that says we're big dumb idiots. We never should have let you go. If you're Mike Vrabel, are you back in?
I mean, it's a nice city to live. Everybody loves Nashville.
Also, the Bryce Young conundrum, the Baker Mayfield, the Sam Darnold, whatever. Will Levis is crazy eyes Sam Bradford. Will Levis ain't going to be good no matter where the fuck he goes.
Wow, you're already out on Levis, huh?
Yeah.
You're already out.
He doesn't know which direction his offense is going in.
Do you think
directional blindness is not a good quality for your starting quarterback to have?
Do you think Vrabel's a coach next year? I think Belichick for sure.
Where's Belichick next year?
A spot with a young QB that he thinks he can turn some things around. I don't know. That's why at the end of the day, Atlanta, Cousins probably wouldn't have been the best fit for him. I don't know. It's interesting. Like, where does Bryce Young go? Where does Trey, like, what happens to Trey Lance? Does he ever get a shot again? Or is he just a huge, like, nobody talks about him? You see what I'm saying? He's just sitting as a backup.
Like, to me, if you're the Panthers, and I get it, there's no sign that Bryce Young is good. But, like, what do you do? What do you do if you're the Panthers?
Don't forget, they traded up and gave up all those picks.
I know, but what I'm saying, so you already fucked this up. You already, like, as far as drafting quarterbacks go, if you think that this guy's terrible, well, you were the ones that thought he was going to be great. So much so that you drafted up for him.
But let's take it back. The owner. This is your classic billionaire, doesn't know football. Let's not forget, Frank Reich wanted CJ Stroud.
Right.
That's documented. There's literally video of it. Frank Reich wanted CJ Stroud. The owner, who is a wild card at this point, David Tepper, wanted Bryce Young. And that's part of the rumors, is that they're saying who benched Bryce Young? Was it the head coach? Was it the owner? Was it both? Because he's basically Jerry Jones, or he's getting in the way of the football decisions.
To me, if I'm the Panthers, you sit Bryce Young behind Andy Dalton, you let him get backup reps. You see when you play. Andy Dalton's not going to win 5 games in a row, but let Andy Dalton eat some shit for a couple games. Then go back to Bryce Young, see where you're at. Give him some fucking reps in practice, a little pressure off. Throw him in a relief situation at the end of the game when you're down, and maybe get him some confidence when Andy Dalton gets blown out 3 weeks from now and they go into the prevent defense, right? Get him some confidence that way. You don't have to go and fucking make another terrible decision and draft another quarterback. It's like the Panthers aren't going to be good anytime soon. So I think, honestly, a good NFL rule should be, if you draft a quarterback in the top 10, you're not allowed to draft a quarterback in the top 10 for 3 years.
Oh, no, they can't do that.
You'd be like, okay, you can draft this guy if you want him, but
let dumb teams make dumb decisions.
I understand that, but I'm saying they make dumb decisions, and then
you think that actually hurts
they
the
ruin
league?
guys' lives.
I mean, Shanahan traded up for Trey Lance. That's a
Yeah.
huge whiff, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Guys whiff. I mean, look.
He also went to Trey Lance over Jimmy G, and he got hurt. And then Brock Purdy came up and did fucking unheard of things. And then he was like, well, I don't need him. So if you're going to give me something for him, I mean, you can have him.
But, in a way, it really is a crapshoot, Joe. We know this. But let's bring it back, and he's playing tonight. Trevor Lawrence, you and I were told, like everyone else, was the Peyton Manning, the Andrew Luck type. We've only had a few of those in our lifetime. Who would you say? I would literally say Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, who they're like, this guy's going to be NFL pro-style quarterback. They told me that about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I would argue they maybe did the same with Burrow, but he also only had one really stud breakout year.
Yeah, it wasn't the same.
It wasn't.
No.
And he was going to the Bengals. I think those are the only 3 in my life where they said this guy is going to be the guy.
NFL lock, projects across the board, all the measurables, yeah.
It was those 3. And 2 of them were.
Yeah.
My point about that is it really can be hit or miss, and it does matter where you go.
Yeah.
Let's not
Doug
forget.
Peterson, also a fucking terrible coach.
Yeah, and let's not forget the Panthers traded their star receiver too. So they're going to draft a quarterback, and he doesn't have a good skill player to maybe offset some of his lumps as a rookie. Whereas these other guys, a lot of them had wide receivers around them when they started.
You know who's in the best position ever? Penix, who doesn't have to fucking play and just watch Kirk Cousins. Like, people were big on the Falcons this year. I wasn't big on the Falcons this year. I thought they could win the division. I still think they could win the division because they have a ton of talent. But like, I'm kind of bigger on the Falcons in the future. It's like you get rid of that guy. You have a young quarterback who you drafted high, who sits behind a veteran. Everybody feels good. They feel confident, but they can't get over the fucking hump and blah, 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 blah. And then here we go.
I did have to laugh last night about Arthur Blank being inducted in the Falcons Ring of Honor. And I just thought like, dude, you can't induct yourself in your own Ring of Honor.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
It's the weirdest thing ever. Like, they're unveiling the name of the guy who owns the team in his stadium.
Yeah, it's like for old dirt balls. The first 3 or 4 years we did this, it always was weird that at the end of the year when you would do your host rankings that you were always 1 and I was 2. I was like, who was there, like a committee? Ruther's like, we've done it again. The votes are in.
Like, I know
I am once again the top host of the year.
Like, I think the Bengals Ring of Honor, I think they let the fans vote, which is actually smart. Are fans, I don't know if Atlanta's doing that. Are fans voting for the owner?
And a bunch of people just wrote Ricky Ricardo and he counted them for himself. Ring of Honor, I'm home.
Just that visual of him at halftime getting emotional. Bro, it's your team. Dude, if I'm a billionaire and I own a football team, I don't need a Ring of Honor. I literally have my own Ring of Honor. Like, I am a Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I own the fucking team.
Yeah.
There's only 32 of them in the whole world.
It was the weirdest fucking thing.
So for that reason, I'm glad the Falcons lost. Also, you didn't hire Belichick, my guy, and I'm glad you lost.
Belichick to the Cowboys? Or he wouldn't fuck with Jerry Jones?
No way he'd mess with Jerry Jones.
Belichick to the Eagles? If your only go-to offensive play is a half-yard throttling of your own quarterback, and you refuse to punt and only kick field goals if you're past midfield, and your quarterback, who is in the top 3 most overrated quarterbacks in the league, has to tell you to calm down every fucking 3 plays. I try to get. You know what I love about the overconfident Eagles fan? Not a single one of them would bet on Sirianni making through the year with me. Not a single one of them. I mean, I reached out directly to like a dozen Eagles fans. I'm like, do it. We talk about coaches. We talk about, it's, and the easiest bet in history is to bet on a team not to win the Super Bowl, right? The odds are greatly opposite in the NFL. Like, so many terrible coaches last way beyond when they should. I was just like, your coach who made the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, bet on him being here week 1 next year. I think I'm good on that. I think I'm good. Yeah, of course you are. He's a fucking dickhead. That's right. You're good on it. I'll be devastated if it's Belichick to the Eagles, but I could see it for sure. You know how much with those weapons, and then like just a good, Jalen Carter and the on the D line. You know how quickly they're like real trouble. You know how quickly they go from paper tiger to stone tiger when you get rid of a guy who my 10-year-old nephew could outcoach if he was playing him in Madden. If my nephew was playing Madden against Nick Sirianni, he'd be like, "Get shit on! Get shit on!" Why are you running quarterback sneak every play? What is this, nerd? Get shit on!
Was there any other observations from week 3 that we haven't talked
Let
about?
me think. What else am I missing? There's a couple. I mean, still the standout is you backing Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, that was a huge L. Do you want me to get the L chain? I'll get it right now.
No,
just get
you
it.
don't. I mean, that's.
I'm looking at
It's
it.
not L chain worthy. It was just.
It was reckless.
What did we do as far as our picks went? Do we know
I think you're up 1
on the week or on the year?
on the
Or
week.
both?
And I think we might be tied. We both have the same picks tonight. We both have Jags and Bengals.
I'm looking through. I mean, you did take the Broncos and I took the Bucks.
I took the Broncos?
Didn't you? I think you did. I tried to show my pick 6 worth last week because you were like, "Oh, picking 6 games is hard." The only one I've gotten wrong so far, Bucks. Which I don't know what the spread was, but it wasn't Broncos by 20. So
They have me taking Tampa Bay on this.
okay.
So I'll trust the guys.
Yeah. The only other one, I mean, the standout game for me is like the only one I just went through all the games that we didn't really touch on that I'd like to touch on is, and I know we talked about Pittsburgh and their playoff potential and their potential of winning a playoff game. I still like the Chargers, man. The Chargers were in that game right up until Justin Herbert went down. I like the Chargers with a healthy Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I mean that's we already discussed that, right? Like heading into the game, that's a tough East to West. You know this.
Well, East to West, yeah, tough.
I'm sorry, West to East.
Yeah, West to East, tough defense. Yeah.
Although
yeah,
I don't think they left the East, by the way.
right.
I think they stayed on the side of the.
But all that stuff, West to East, tough defense, didn't get to go home, didn't sleep in their own beds. Blah, 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 blah. Justin Herbert, I didn't know he's fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Just a healthy Justin Herbert. That's the team. That's the team no one's going to want to play.
I wonder if we ride him too high sometimes.
Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This is why I believe in this team is like Harbaugh's a good coach. We know that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Justin Herbert is that guy. He can make those fucking throws. All the throws I'm talking about, the reason I don't like a fucking quarterback, Justin Herbert, we don't need the scheme for Justin Herbert to make the 4-yard out with the pick play. I've been saying it for the entirety of Justin Herbert's career when Brandon Staley was coaching. Like, why aren't we doing fucking 15-yard crossing routes, drive the ball downfield? Like, he can do that. And truly, we talk about all these quarterbacks and how they look when they play on terrible teams with terrible coaching. Justin Herbert's looked pretty good in his career with what we all agree was terrible coaching. Now he's got a good coach. I think that this team is going to be super dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I mean, I like to think that, especially with a defense that's playing pretty well so far all year. Hey, look, man, Justin Fields on the other side, they keep winning. He's not
turning
turning
the ball over.
I was just saying, he's not turning the ball over.
Don't turn the ball over. Play defense.
And I don't know how much you watch of that Cowboys Ravens game, but if the Ravens run the ball like that, holy shit, they're not going to lose many games.
Although they tried to lose that game.
They really did. But like, if I'm in that division, I'm calling you, Justin Wood. If you have a team that can't stop the run, good luck. By the way, I saw there was a lot of text from Justin. I didn't really fully understand a lot of them, so I just
I don't even know that. Justin is one of those guys where, like, I think if you catch Justin like in happy hour or hungover or at like a country music concert, I guess, then I'm like, how much is he digesting in this? But he wanted me to apologize to him, which I sort of maybe did on Monday. And then I sent yesterday a clip. I don't want to give away too much, but it was essentially my apology to him was that I got his favorite NFL talking point maybe on the Fox NFL pregame show, and I still didn't get a thank you. And he was like, it was a hold. And I was like, yeah, I think you're missing the point. It's like, I took your favorite talking point and.
But, well, I don't understand. Like, again, same thing. I was like busy. And then like the texts are coming through and I was busy. And I actually haven't looked at them until now again. Like pictures with girls at a country music festival. What is he? Who are those people?
I don't know.
He wrote "Making Ruthers Proud." Like my whole family is proud. Like, why are my brothers proud of him hanging out with girls at a country music festival? I am so confused.
Well, because he's a Ruther.
Okay. Now I see.
He's
that.
Randy Ruther. He's the sixth Ruther brother. The sixth Ruther brother is out there fucking poontang. All you guys are locked down with your wives and your baby mamas.
I gotcha.
But the next to youngest Ruther brother is still out there holding it down for you guys.
He's representing.
I don't know, Jason Aldean or whatever.
No one knows. I don't think he remembers any of
I don't even know where that was. I was like, is he in Vegas? Like, where is he? Is he in Miami?
I thought it was Las Vegas.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know where this dude is.
Yeah, there's no context.
No. I was just pointing out, I talked to him, by the way, on Monday. I was like, hey, I'm going to, for you, because you're mad at me, but also because you're going to come watch my dogs when I go to Tahoe. I was like, I'm going to throw you a bone here. I'm going to write some, the Chiefs are helped by the NFL refs jokes for you. See if we can't get you some airtime. And then I sent it. He's like, yeah, where's a hold? I was like, no thank you in there. No, you're forgiven. No, can't wait to watch Bob.
Oh, a side note. Our country music festivals, if we're going to rate where the most attractive girls go for music festivals, it's got to be country, right?
I don't know.
It's got to be country. And I'm not a country guy, but just having to be at some recently for work stuff, there's a lot of attractive girls at country shows.
Well, I'll say this, in addition to there being a lot, like, I think there's a lot of I don't think there's a lot of attractive girls that, like, I don't know, maybe like a reggae festival or whatever. You get like the white girl with the dreads and whatever, but but I feel like if you did, like, let's say you were at Coachella, right? And then you were just like, all right, every girl here go into this tent and come out in boots and jean shorts. Suddenly you'd be like, oh, wait, is this a hotter fit? Like, as far as there are attractive girls, but like you're also putting them in like like whatever you might think about like country music or whatever, like cowboy boots and jean shorts is elite.
Maybe. I think a lot of attractive girls are drawn to that music. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't know where Justin was. That's the basically.
Me either.
No one has.
No one knows.
No context.
No. Love the guy. Gonna play in his golf tournament on Friday for his birthday. The Justin Wood Classic, the first annual Justin Wood Memorial Classic.
Unbelievable. So you want to talk about your Mets?
I mean, it's getting real fucking interesting. I mean, the Mets are, I don't want to jinx it, but like looking real good for a playoff spot, but also just electric atmosphere. Take 3 out of 4 from the Phils last night. Edwin Diaz has come in for a 2-inning save. 8th inning has to go against fucking Schwarber and Harper and I don't know who the other fucking guy is, but like then he comes in for the 9th. It gets dicey, but he closes the door. Lindor's hurt. Last night was potentially Pete Alonso's last home game as a Met. Just a lot of things happening right now. And to take 3 out of 4 from the Phils when basically everything's a playoff game, Sunday night baseball, Edwin Diaz coming in 2 out, shut down closing. It's just something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man in a Grimace suit over there. And Hawk Tua in the air. I don't know. We always talk about vibes. Nowhere would I say is vibes more important in sports than in baseball. I don't know hockey well enough. Feels like hockey, the vibes. Feel like hockey, it's like the vibes and a hot goalie. Baseball, it's the vibes. The vibes are good. There's Grimace. There's Hawk Tua. There's things happening.
And I have
Steve Cohen is stepping away from his hedge fund to focus on baseball.
And I have Joe to remind me, guys, that baseball season is still happening.
I think here's what let me say something, Andy. I think you should get into some playoff baseball because it's such like a fucking it's last year the outcome was crazy and that it was Diamondbacks Texas. This year it feels like that's even more like I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't really we talk about in the NFL, oh, there's the Chiefs and the Bills. I don't have confidence in any single team winning a playoff series, and I don't have confidence in any single team losing a playoff series. Like anything is possible. I'm literally like right now, the fact that like the team that I think is giving me the best feeling is because Grimace and the Hawk Tua girl threw out first pitches during season. What is like the Mets are onto something at this point. Remember the last World Series run? It was Joe Prano throwing a first pitch. It's literally they were like, well, what can we do to match that? How about we get spit on dick girl out here?
When do the playoffs start? 2 weeks?
No, a week and a half. Yeah. I mean, there's 6 games left in baseball.
Yeah, they fired the manager in this city, which I don't really. Again, I don't follow, but I'm like, why would you fire a guy with 5 games left? Why don't you just let him play out the year?
Yeah, feels very weird. Where are you gonna go?
That's my 3rd straight season.
You haven't been to a Reds game the whole year?
Nope. Where you can go? Not to the stadium. You know, again, I don't think that I don't want anybody to think this. I don't think I try to stand on like a moral soapbox here, but it's just like I value my time and I value my money more now. It's that total dad bullshit that just sinks into your body, which is true. I'm like, dude, I can't. I'm not saying I'm never going to go, but it's like, I just can't. I'm still just like, I can't believe you said that to me as a fan. You don't have to say it out loud. You might think it. I don't know. But like, you're talking about fun things is my point with your squad. Grimace, the girl who spits on dicks, the guy who's the guy in the Mets who created a song?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, those are some good vibes.
The vibes are immaculate right now.
Those are some good vibes. It's not negative.
And here's the thing. Every Mets season, so I mean it's still early, we haven't made the playoffs yet, but like last night was the kind of like ninth inning meltdown where the team just starts coming apart. And the fact that they had like a division rival, 3 out of 4, 2 inning save, feels good. Feels good. I'm sure I'll be let down, but feels good right now.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll put a game on or two.
You can be a Mets fan for the postseason. You know, you've always been welcome since you were on the field. Since you replaced Mike Piazza as the latest gay Mets catcher.
Hey. Who thinks gayer, me or Mike Piazza?
I mean, Mike Piazza.
You
Yeah,
think he's gayer than me?
yeah, because he's gay.
You think he's really gay?
I don't know. Remember the whole rumor he was fucking Sam Champion, the New York sportscaster?
Oh, I didn't know that was the rumor.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it, but the fact that he held a press conference to say he wasn't gay is what, like, dude,
And
that's
then
one of the
and then he had back knee from taking steroids and taking back shots.
that's one of my favorite things of all time. Can you imagine holding a press conference to say I'm not gay? That's like a Chappelle show.
Why
sketch.
are you gay? Who says I am gay? You are gay.
We do have a. By the way, they are filming and I'm sure you can look this up anyway. Per Nick Swartzen on a show that night, they're currently filming Happy Gilmore 2 in New Jersey.
I know. There's an open call. I tried to get Mikey to go.
Oh, for the golf course?
Yeah.
You know, I love Happy Gilmore. It's like, what's the second one going to be? It's one of those things.
Yeah, I know.
You
But
gotta-
Top Gun Maverick was amazing.
Do you think Tom Cruise was at any of these Diddy parties?
No.
By the way, I'm obsessed. I am
Oh,
obsessed.
I know.
How did you know that I was obsessed? You just knew?
Because this is right up your alley.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
My entire timeline. You know how just the algorithms overtake.
I mean, have you seen the video of him patting down Justin
Oh,
Bieber?
it's insane.
That's something out of a fucking bad mob movie.
Dude, it's I just can't. I didn't realize like the Kim Porter book. I mean, I knew he whacked her, but like the stuff that she came across and just
How about the 700 dildos?
700. Wait, did I miss something? Is there something I missed? I'm engulfed in all this, and I.
Pretty sure they found 700 plus dildos during the raid.
Did you see the video?
I was talking to somebody last night. Like, oh, maybe some sex company gave him. I'm like, what the
700?
fuck are you talking about? And then what? He kept them all in a room. He's like, oh, it's my dildo room. Take one to go. They're party favors. You can always leave with the dildo if you want. Dude, it's 700 dildos. Can you imagine if you had like a bachelor party or whatever and your friends, everybody was like, hey, all 15 of us will just bring Joe a dildo as a joke. The end of the week, they'd all be gone. I'd be like, I don't need these dildos. I don't think Mikey has the dildo that we bought him for his bachelor party where we all signed it in a fucking Sharpie. And by the end of the night, the Sharpie was rubbing off on the vinyl. So it was just like this weird, like multicolored Banksy looking Jackson Pollock dick. I don't think he still has that.
It's Mikey. You never know.
He might, but I don't think he does.
It's your brother.
He's got 700 dildos and 2,000 bottles of lube.
What you know what I find most amazing about when you hear all this?
I don't care how big my house is. It's not big enough for me to have a dildo room. I'm like, I could put a gym in there. I don't think I need it for dildos.
Is it that you just think you're so big this will never come out? That's what I keep thinking about myself. Like, is this you never thought this would come out?
Yeah, probably. I think it's one of those things too, where it's like he came up in the 90s, dude. He was just like, you got away with it. And then now they're like, dude,
That's what I'm saying. You can't get away with anything now.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen any of the people who've worked his parties are all coming out now, which I know a lot of people are saying, well, why didn't you say this before? I don't think a lot of, some are probably made up, but some aren't. Have you seen any of these?
No.
People are like, I saw a woman post it. She's like, I worked a catering event in like the mid 2000s. And she's like, Diddy, it was in LA. And Diddy was like, at one point, he just said, stop the food. And they were like, what? He's like, no food, take it all back to the kitchen. We're only doing all this alcohol, because his goal was just to get everybody so drunk that like, just, things happen.
Train on Bieber.
Yeah. Dude, I literally look at Bieber differently now. Like, I feel so sorry for him.
Yeah.
I legit like feel sorry for him. And I didn't know. Here's what's crazy. And I know we don't want to go down this too far, even though I already am. Like, I watched that clip of Usher on Howard Stern from 2016. Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did I not know that? Usher lived with Diddy when he was 14 for a year.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, even Howard Stern is like, dude, you're not even saying this isn't like, this is 2016. It's not that long ago. Howard Stern's like, oh, imagine all the parties. He's not being like, wait, you're a 13 and 14-year-old boy living with a grown man? So bizarre, man. It's all, and it'll never come out. We'll never know.
Well, he's gonna be the new Epstein.
They're gonna whack him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can't stop. Won't stop. He's just dodging bullets.
That's the joke I was making on the Andy Ruther show. I kept saying, can't stop, won't stop. No, seriously, you can't stop. The orgy must go on.
Yeah.
You know how they said it was like, can't stop, won't stop. No, seriously, get the IVs in here. They have to have sex for the next 7 straight days. Dude, I there's the videos that are coming out are just, and then J-Lo stuff. I don't know if you've seen that. That like, she's in deep and she knows so much.
Now, like, Kevin Hart's like shutting down his restaurants. People deactivating their Twitters.
Oh yeah.
They're like,
Usher claimed he was hacked. Did you see that?
Usher's a hack.
He deleted everything, and then it's a lot of it. They said it all came back, but it's like something was going on the back end.
Yeah.
By the way, that is the lamest, whether you're a celebrity, athlete, politician. I was hacked.
Elon Musk is finally going to start making money on Twitter. He's just been losing by the billions. All these fucking things are going to be like, hey, here's $50 million. Just delete every fucking piece of information that's ever been tweeted or exchanged, DMs, all of it. Gone. I want it gone.
Oh, I didn't even think about the DMs. You ever gone back in your DMs?
No.
I've gone back a lot of times and I'm like, ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, this is
I don't do a lot of like weird DMing.
I wouldn't do weird ones, but I've met some girls on Twitter.
Yeah. That's Andy Ruther style.
And then
I literally never met a girl on Twitter.
Oh my God. I got it in my head. We do have a hotline, 310-359-8365.
You can follow me at Joe Prano on all social media except for Twitter, where I'm at Fix Your Life. A couple weeks, I'll be up in Tahoe for the Boys and Girls Club of Lake Tahoe charity golf tournament and comedy show. October 12th, McDuff's Pub is the show. Following week, I'll be in Vegas, October 14th through the 20th, Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Las Vegas. Bunch of shows coming up in and around Los Angeles, joeprano.com for those, or just go to my Instagram where I always post my flyers and shit like that. But come and check out a show.
Cool. All right, guys, that's our show. Thanks for sticking with us. We will be back on Thursday or Friday. I forget what we're doing. Friday.
We can even do Thursday this week.
Okay, we'll figure it out. All right, have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.